Hey guys, welcome to another video from Just Two Dudes. My name's Louie.
My name's Seth.
Alright, so this is a video about our first game of the year.
Right, against Chattanooga.
And I thought it sucked. Everything I wanted to see, or everything I was hoping not to see is what I saw. Yeah. And it started on the first play of the game.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about some of those things.
It started on the very first play of the game. It's a kickoff, and we're trying to act like it's a punt. I mean, the first guy to it fields it and knocks it back 10, 15 yards, and then we got a mad scramble. And it's kind of what I've always said when it comes to football. You either set the tone or have it set for you.
Yeah.
And once again, there we are laying the ball all over the carpet. We can't get the other team to fumble for nothing.
Right.
It's a statistical improbability to go that many years in a row without causing some turnovers.
Yeah.
We just don't do it. Bo's defenses, unless it's ridiculous pressure by the D-line and some quarterback floats the ball in the air,
right.
Like we can't cause a fumble. We can't get an interception in man-to-man coverage.
One of the bigger games of last week was the Oregon LSU game, and I watched some of that, and I can't tell you how many times LSU players, when they went to tackle, it was a strip first and then secure the ball carrier. I mean, they get after the ball hard.
Right.
I mean, why can't we do that?
And I mean,
Oklahoma's always done that. They've always ripped at the ball. I mean, we need to start doing that.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily complaining about the defense. I just don't know why we lay the ball on the turf so much and we can't cause a fumble. We can't ever cause a fumble.
Yeah.
And I mean, occasionally the other team just flat out has to drop the ball. It's like they don't even do that. Yeah. Other teams don't botch handoffs. They don't fumble the snaps against us.
Sorry.
Oh, your turn to maybe get sick here. What are some things you saw from the game?
Well, one of the bigger things is Taylor Martinez looked fast again. Slower than what he did last year with the weight he put on, but still very fast. The O-line was not good. Too many yards of 3 or less, or too many runs of 3 or less yards gained. Penalties were down from the O-line, which is a good start, but there's still a whole lot of improvement that O-line needs to make. And that's one of the bigger things that I took away from it. And maybe the other one is still the fact that Taylor Martinez will sit there at times and look at one receiver the whole play, and not only that, but receivers dropping the ball as well.
Right. One of the things, though, that I keep hearing is like Tim Beck got a little stubborn with his play calling.
Right.
And had this been a more important game or a little bit further down the road, he would have called a different game.
They used it more of a practice for him to try and evaluate more, which completely goes against Bo's whole philosophy that we don't take anyone here lightly at Nebraska, like he always says. It's funny how he always says that, and then they openly come out and say, well, if this would have been a tougher opponent, we would have tried some different things.
Right.
So that was interesting.
I want to believe that the play calling was very simple and that they would have called a different game because it was just very unimpressive. We could not run up the middle, and that's alarming.
Yeah, especially when the anchor of the middle is a senior, too, and a returning starter at that.
And and people want to say, hi buddy, what are you doing? Little doggy here. So people want to say, okay, well we couldn't run because they put 8 or 9 guys in the box. Well where's Kyler Reed?
Right, where's all the speed at the receiver position?
If they're gonna stuff the box on you, you make them pay for it.
The only thing I can think of is I think from the game plan standpoint of the offense, we wanted to show a lot of formations for other teams to see on film and prepare for, but we didn't want to use a whole lot of plays.
Right.
So I think we weren't vanilla in as far as the look of things with all the different formations, but we were really vanilla when it came to the play calling. I think.
Right. One thing that did bother me is here we go again with receivers that just really don't care whether or not they catch the ball.
Yeah,
endless drops.
They care. They just didn't. They just couldn't catch the ball for whatever reason.
It's either important to you or it's not. I mean, you don't play at this level and drop that many passes. As a wide receiver unit, you don't play at this level and go from game to game to game to game with dropping that many dang passes. Now I realize 2 of them were pass interference penalties, but it's like sometimes
there's still some drops, and even important drops. A couple of them were on 3rd downs in the red zone. You can't drop a ball. Well, you can't drop a ball really ever, but especially in the red zone and on 3rd down. I mean,
and it's not like Martinez is throwing darts.
Yeah, it's not like the Cody Green factor where he throws it too hard. I mean, Taylor, he can't throw hard, but I think he throws a catchable ball when he puts it where it needs to be.
Right. Speaking of the wide receivers, I thought Brandon Kinney just had an awful game.
Yeah.
Had a couple of drops. Really didn't see him blocking much. The other side to that is Quincy Enunwa.
Right. Yeah, he had a breakout game.
At least 5 times we saw him with some amazing blocks.
Well, one he even took out Taylor with it.
Right. I mean, he basically looked like an old lineman who gets out there and gets his hands on a little DB at times.
It was, and not only he's one of those guys that when he gets his hands on a guy, they're out of the play, and not only that, but he's looking for that.
Right. And when he did catch the ball, the kid was hard to bring down.
Right. I mean,
I like him.
It is Chattanooga. We got to keep that in mind. But there was a fight and a want-to from the receiver position that probably haven't seen since the Nate Swift, Todd Peterson days.
So his name is Quincy Enunwa. He's number 18.
18.
I'd say definitely keep your eye on him.
True sophomore's going to be here for a couple years.
Jamal Turner, he caught 1 ball?
He caught 1 ball and got a couple triple options from the shotgun and pistol designed for him. Then got 1 carry for 4 yards, and then he had the ball twice, and one of those times he electrified the crowd. I mean, this is just one of those guys that throughout the year we have to find a way to get the ball to him at least 10 times a game. Right. I think he's that special of a player, and you can't give him the ball enough.
I agree with that. Another thing, speaking from the offensive side of the ball, this is Nebraska. It's tough to say that the option is new to us, but to this particular group, it is new.
Right. Feels weird saying, though.
I would imagine that there were some high school kids in Nebraska that were laughing at what a poor job Taylor Martinez and late in the game Breon Carnes did at running the option.
Yeah. It looked good sometimes, but just not great.
It's not an easy play.
No.
Running with the ball in your right hand and pitching, then running to your left and pitching with your left hand. I don't know too many people that can do that.
It's a whole different skill set.
It's a skill. It's a very unique thing. But the quarterbacks just didn't look like they understood the concept of it.
Right, and I don't know. I mean, obviously we're not there in practice. We don't know what they're being taught. We don't know how often they do work on it. I believe they have a part of practice where it's just option work. But when you think about when we used to run the option, not only did we work on that every day in practice, but I doubt it wasn't for just a part of practice. It was a big part of practice.
A quarterback drill and a running back drill.
It's
now,
one of those things.
A friend of ours who's a local, he's coached locally in the high school areas the last couple of years, and went down to the coaches clinic and got to see a practice. He said back in the spring that Taylor Martinez running the option was not a pretty sight. A lot of fumbles, a lot of bad pitches, a lot of bad choices.
I think the option
saw that.
I think the option is just going to be a work in progress until it becomes routine. But it is a dangerous option with the people we have.
It's potent.
I mean, it's hard to say he ran it horrible because on one option he audibled to it and broke off a 40-some yard touchdown for a run, and then there was another time out of the shotgun when it's still a triple option.
But if you go back and you look at that option, it was ran terribly. But with his special set of skills,
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the more we practice it. You can't practice the option too much. Everyone in this state that follows Nebraska football for a while knows that. But it's such a dangerous thing to have with a guy like him. Especially the way we run it. We don't run like the old style where it's kind of slow developing and it's more about reads. It's about attacking the outside as fast as possible with the speed option. And with him at quarterback, that is, I know I've said it probably too much, but it is a dangerous weapon to have.
Him keeping the ball and any of those top 4 running backs taking a pitch on the outside. Rex even showed it. And by the way, Rex wasn't out at the 9-yard line. That was crap. He was in. He housed that thing. And I thought he looked gorgeous streaking down the sideline.
It was definitely a different side of Rex.
Yeah, I was like, wow, because he was. And we obviously know the 3 young punks. We know if they get the ball on the outside.
It's straight.
They're going to be hard to tap. They might not be able to make the necessary moves because of the experience factor like Rex has.
As far as straight line speed, catching an option pitch.
So that play is, you will hear me probably talk about how much I hate that play and love that play every week. I'm telling you now, after one game, Husker fans, that's going to be a tough play to. Because I think we might even live and die with that at times. I think we're going to have a massive turnover when we absolutely can't have it because of that play.
And then we can also break off a huge run.
And then Taylor's going to be stuck at the 5-yard line when we're up by 7, and he's going to house it for a 95-yard run to seal a game.
It's definitely a double-edged sword with this.
There you go. Yeah. So the O-line, I just needed to see that against an inferior opponent, when it was 3rd down and 3, that you can line up and hand the ball off to your I-back, and it's a guaranteed first down.
I just wanted to say something here. It's kind of somewhat not really that great of a point, but our first 2 runs were for -1 yard. Wisconsin's first 2 runs in their first game against a opponent that's actually in our division of football. They ran their first 2 rushes for 20 yards. I mean, that's, it's hard to compare, but I mean, it's just.
Well, you have to.
Right.
Because right now it's well known that Wisconsin is the top team in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
there's a bit of an argument for 2, 3, and 4 between Ohio State, Nebraska, and Michigan State.
They run 2 rushes for 20 yards. We run 2 for -1. I mean, that's. The O-line, I don't care if they had jitters. I mean, Wisconsin had first-time starters, too.
They're replacing 3 guys in the NFL.
Right. I mean it's...
They went to the NFL.
The offensive line just really needs to pick up.
So, instead of us really just sitting here and just totally bashing the offense, I think we've been hearing it too much that don't be too quick to judge that first game, that the play calling was really simple. And that it'll get a little, as the season wears on, I think we'll see a little better play calling.
You probably heard a car door outside.
We're actually dog sitting. It's my sister's dog, and we're dog sitting, and he doesn't like us not paying him any attention. All right, so now let's just transition. We're going to talk a little bit about special teams. And then touch on the defense.
Special teams, for me, was better than expected. I kind of expected Brett Maher to miss kind of an easy kick and maybe a longer one, but not only did he not do that, his first one was a 50-yard field goal into a hard win, and that wasn't just barely over the crossbar. That was good.
Yeah. That was nice. And his punting, we talked about what kind of punter is this? And why all of a sudden does Nebraska have a guy, Alex Henry? Why are we the only school that has? Well, we might not be the only school, but it's pretty rare to have back-to-back 3- and 4-year kickers who are a kicker and a punter.
It works for us. We might as well keep doing it.
But what we kind of talked about, is he going to be the Kyle Larson type? Is he going to be like Kyle Larson,
a power
Sam
or
Cook?
Precision.
Or is he going to be like Alex Henry? Alex Henry could not flip the field. If Alex Henry punted from the 20, he was going to get it to like the 40 or to the 30.
Unless there was some wind or it bounced.
But where it separated him is if he punted it from the 50, he had an unbelievable ability to down it inside the 2 and 3.
His percentage for punts inside the 20 is very impressive.
So with this kid so far, he is a field flipper.
Yeah.
If he punts the ball if he gets that ball at the 20 and punts it, they're fielding it at the other 10 or 20.
And it wasn't just one punt. I mean, all his punts, they were long,
52
they were
yards.
high.
Yep.
I mean, a 52-yard average, and not once did he outkick his coverage. That's the most important thing when you're talking about a power punter. He didn't outkick his coverage one time because he puts good hang time on the ball. And I think special teams, you know, if Brett Maher
Except
keeps
for the
it up,
first kickoff that we couldn't field. And
I think if Brett Maher keeps it up, it's hard to imagine. But I think our special teams can actually improve from last year because of the threat, because of the threat in the return game.
Oh, I told you it was going to be better than last year because of return yards. Amir Abdullah kind of was shaky, but I was expecting that.
It's just his first time. It's hard to catch a punt with that many people.
It's hard to catch a punt in college football, period.
Especially
and Nebraska fans know that.
Game. Yeah.
We've been through some horrendous.
All I want to say about that is the first two is what you expected. Nervous, kind of. It almost looked like he didn't necessarily know what to do. But his last couple returns,
look at that kid at Oregon. He basically fumbled the game away on a couple returns.
And Amir Abdullah, his last couple, he almost broke both. I mean, you can say it's against Chattanooga, but I don't care.
Yeah, he got better as the game went on, and I look for him to probably. I'm going to say a couple back. I'm going
to say right now he'll take 3 total kicks back. He'll take.
Yikes.
I think he's going to take a kickoff back, and I think he's going to take a couple of punts back. I mean, I think he's special in that department.
All right, let's get on to the defense.
Black shirts. You said you didn't like the way they played.
Well, they're just.
I think they played their typical great game. I mean, why don't you go ahead and stop looking at your phone?
That's weird. I don't recognize that phone number. But anyway,
Go ahead, talk about the defense.
I thought.
Talk about how giving 2 runs up the middle means we're gonna suck this year.
Okay, so last year when you were screaming and crying and I had to get you tissues for your issues because they were running up the middle, if it happens early on and it never gets fixed, it's a problem.
How many times did it hurt us last year?
And you were the only one screaming.
Yeah, when you have 5 and 6 DBs on the field, you should get ran up the middle.
Okay, but if you still haven't fixed the problem, you played 14 games last year, and if you still can't fix the problem,
it's just the scheme we play.
Big Ten.
It's just the scheme we play.
Okay, so
because
last
they had
year,
a lot of 3 and 4
so
wide
last year,
sets.
why was it? It was a problem, but it's not this year.
It's the scheme. It's the scheme.
Okay, so this year the scheme has changed?
No. Well, yeah, it has changed this year.
How? We still gave up too many yards right up the middle.
Because Chattanooga ran a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. When you run 3 and 4 receiver sets, and you make a team have 5, 6 DBs on the field, the middle is open.
When Wisconsin rolls out 3 receivers and they got 5 offensive linemen and 1 tight end and a running back gashes us.
We'll play a different scheme.
Oh, see, no.
It's just like K-State last year.
No.
K-State could run the ball on anybody last year. They played us. They couldn't do a damn thing in the running game.
No, being ran up on the middle is a problem. Okay. You said it last year, and nobody believed you, and it reared its ugly head endlessly at the end of the year, and I still think it's a problem. We can disagree all we want on that.
It never cost us a game.
Being ran on up the middle?
Scoring 3 points and then giving up huge leads. I mean, that's what costs you games.
You know a defense cannot give up running up the middle.
I don't think we will.
I think we will, and I think it's going to be a problem. Baker Steinkuhler, once again, like, we play a whole game and we don't see him. We don't hear his name. It's like, where are you?
Yeah, I mean, we keep waiting for him to take this huge step.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't. And one thing about him, to me, he comes off the ball. He can come off the ball slow with a lack of attack, and he comes off the ball at times so high that it hurts him.
Yeah, but you know what? There has to be a reason that the coaches continuously start him over everybody else.
Maybe he's just good at stalemating his guy and being a traditional defensive tackle and just eating up blockers.
And if that's the case, and Baker's job is to, take on the double team and free up Crick, then so be it. When I'll apologize, but I'm like, where are you?
I mean, we don't know the X's and O's. We don't know what he's supposed to be doing. But it would be nice to finally see him step up and have a breakout game, and then continue it through the year.
right? And anybody who knows me knows that my least two favorite players on every Nebraska football team are the two safeties.
I don't know why you hate safeties so much.
Because when somebody scores a touchdown, they're the last person I see, and that's who I like to blame things on.
It's stupid.
Because a lot of times you see the safety can't get over in time to make a touchdown-saving tackle, or the safety didn't come over and rotate. The safety is just one position.
I tell you what, most of the time with safeties, it's more or less other people's fault. They're just the last one you see.
10 to 20% of the time might even be the safety's fault.
Yeah.
I get that. But I didn't get mad at any of them. I didn't get mad at it. I stayed away from them.
Kind of had some things to say about Austin Cassidy. Kind of.
But then you pointed something out to me and I took it back.
Well, alright then.
Alright, yep. I thought at one play it was all him, and Seth proved to me that it was actually Levante David. Trevor Roach.
Yeah, I mean, Will Compton goes down injured again. He came back in practice today. I mean, today's Tuesday, late Tuesday night, and he's back in practicing. But I'm not even sure if Will Compton is a better linebacker. I mean, he might know more. He might have the more mental part of it down. But I mean, Trevor Roach looked like an athlete.
Is that who came in for Will Compton?
Yeah, Trevor Roach came in for Will Compton.
Oh, then Will Compton lost his job.
Well, I don't think Will Compton lost his job just because of the knowledge of the defense he has. But I think the more games you play, the more you'll see Trevor Roach. And it's just a matter of time before Will Compton gets hurt again.
Yeah, hope not.
Yeah,
Trevor Roach just looked good and fast and aggressive.
I hate flies.
Defensive star of the day.
Cameron Meredith. I mean, he's unblockable, and he looks so much faster than I think we've ever seen him.
Totally.
I mean, 2 sacks, an interception, and of course that's more Crick's.
Yeah.
That's more what Crick did with a tip ball. But 2 sacks, an interception, a factor in the passing game, the whole game that he was in. And he even picked up the blocked field goal and started running it downfield. I mean, he played very, very well. And he even got injured and had to come out.
Right. Cameron Meredith. You know,
you got nothing to say about it?
If one of our DNs can prove to be, I can't remember the last time we had a DN that, when turned loose, could probably get a couple sacks a game.
Mario Williams, when we played him at end for the few
there
times.
You go. No, he was very good at that. Demario Williams is one of them. Not even Moore or Carricker.
I mean, they got sacks, but not someone that could be turned loose.
This guy looks like he could be somebody that
just pin your ears back and go.
Yeah, and what's nice about that is, you know, in Bo's scheme, if he turns a defensive end loose, there's responsibility from other people to come up and cover for him. But what if all of a sudden Cameron Meredith becomes this unblockable force?
Yeah.
And so you can't double team Crick anymore.
Well, you can double team Crick because
what if you got to slide people over though?
One's on the inside, one's on the outside. I mean,
what if you got to slide your protection?
As long as they're on different sides, you can't really do that. I mean, you can
so
try.
let's say Meredith's over here and he's right next to Baker. At some point in time, if Cameron Meredith just keeps killing the tackle, doesn't the guard have to slide over, and then the center and guard have to?
That's one way to do it, but a lot of times, especially in the Big Ten, what you'll see is I think a tight end would be a tight end and tackle combo because
even better then.
Right, because it's one less receiver.
It's one less person that you got to worry about offensively.
Right, I mean, there's ways, and if he can prove that, it'll really open things up.
What a beautiful thing if you have 2 defensive linemen at any time. If you don't double team them.
Right, and we were kind of hoping Baker could step up and be a guy like that, but it looks like so far through one game, I mean, I know it's just one game, but looks like Cameron Meredith can step up and be the other.
The thing about it is even though it's one game, the players you hoped would step up kind of stepped up. Levante David played extremely well.
Absolutely.
Jared Crick played well.
Yes.
Cameron Meredith stepped up. We were
Yes.
hoping to see Baker step up. Didn't happen.
Right.
Taylor Martinez, unfortunately, to me, looks like the same player from last year.
Hopefully that can definitely get improved.
Yeah.
We need it. We desperately need it. When he's good, when he's rolling and healthy and passing efficiently, not great. We don't need him to be Andrew Luck. I mean, when he's passing efficiently.
No, this offense doesn't need a
very
75% passer.
We are a very deadly team when he's an efficient passer.
Okay, so basically, I just want to finish up by saying it is one game.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
A lot of things
we
to
overreact to everything.
A lot of things to fix, but the good thing about that is they're fixable things. It's just a matter of finding a way to get the kids to fix them.
Right. I'm not going to really overreact to this first game because I've read too much online. I've read too much in the paper, and I've heard from other people
Well,
that
we
it just.
didn't do this video Saturday night then.
Oh, man, yeah, I was pretty hot then. Just not to jump to too many conclusions offensively for this first game. Anything you want to add?
How about this? Favorite offensive and defensive plays?
My favorite defensive play was, of course, the tip ball that Cameron Meredith came down with. I really like that. Favorite offensive play? I can't remember who the kid was, but he came in and he knocked somebody's head off. One of the receivers.
That was Anunwa.
Quincy Anunwa, when he came in and blocked and just depleted that guy. I liked that one a lot.
For me, my favorite one was early in the first quarter when Rex took that option.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see Rex being able to run like that. And defensively, Damian Stafford bringing the boom on that running back.
You know,
that was
ESPN
hot.
showed a bunch of big hits from the weekend, and they showed Stafford's, and they showed a bad angle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, ESPN, you still hate us.
Yeah. I mean, he brought...
that's a play that needed to be replayed from the right angle because he killed that guy.
Yeah, he...
And it was legitimate. If anybody watches these videos, well...
If anybody knows you.
Yeah, I can't stand it when people hit people that are looking the other way. It's a sucker shot. A receiver's coming across the middle,
The
looking
running back
back.
wasn't looking the other way.
Yeah, this was head on.
This is like Oklahoma drill, literally.
Yeah.
There was a hole, the running back came, defender came, who's gonna hit who the hardest?
Straight up hit.
Yeah, and the best thing about it, didn't get in the guy's face, didn't celebrate right on top of him or on their sideline.
Where'd he go?
Right back to our guys.
Right back to our huddle. Then he started dancing, and I loved that.
All I gotta
Good
say
call.
is Courtney Osborne better watch out if Damian Stafford keeps playing like that because he could overtake him as a starting safety. We saw that last year. Bro's not afraid to change safeties. And if Damian Stafford keeps playing like that,
and you know, I never mind the safeties getting benched.
Right, third leading tackle on the team that game. Couple big hits. Someone to look out for.
All in all, 40-7 opening game victory. Probably didn't learn it all that much.
Right. Well, hopefully we learned so much more about this Fresno State team we're about to play.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks.